Good morning, Mats. I thought it was best if I made my own video to give you a demo on how to straighten out your Shark Tank issue. Now, I don't have Shark Tank on my server, so I just grabbed a couple different TV shows and copied a few episodes out of those into this working folder, and then I've renamed them as they should be. I use FileBot to do it. Actually, all I had was this as the name, and then I opened it up in FileBot and used the basic expression you can use with FileBot to add the episode name to. So I wanted to talk about a few things before we move these into my Plex server. So you need to make a decision on which database to use for your TV shows. Plex uses kind of a secret sauce method. They keep their own cache of both the TMDB and the TVDB for their TV show scanner. For their movie scanner, they keep a cache of the TMDB, TVDB, and IMDB. So if a change is made to any of those databases, it may take anywhere from a day to 3 days for the Plex's cache to catch up to it. But why I said you need to make a choice is, while most entries in these two databases are exactly the same for every TV show, if I was going to name to the TMDB, my folder name and my episode name would have to reflect that. So that's how I would name if I'm naming to the movie database. If I'm naming to the TV database, as it is fine. The differences you have to be aware of is oftentimes in the special folder for each database, you may have different entries. You may have more specials in one versus the other. You may have specials in different order. So Plex doesn't care which you name to, but if you're going to do, excuse that, that's a news bulletin coming in on my phone. If you're going to name to the movie database, the name should match all the way through your folder and file structure, and the same for the TV database. And let's go to Plex for a second. If you pick the TV database, which I have, you should make one change to your TV show libraries. You should go into your Manage Library and Edit, and then go to Advanced and scroll down, and you should change the episode ordering to the TV database instead of the default, the movie database. That way, if you're basing everything off the TV database for your episodes, Plex will know what you're doing. So that's an important change you should make. So let me see. Lastly, as my screenshot suggested, the formatting is very important. I'm not going to pull up Plex's naming guide for TV shows. I've already shared that before in the past, but you'll see you've got the show name, the separator of a space dash space, the season episode coding, that same separator again, and then the proper episode name. If you wanted to use extra info in this file name, Plex now says you have to put it in brackets. So this is where you could put 1080p, 5.1, H.264, and so on. I actually have my FileBot expression set up to add that automatically. So let's prep this to add to Plex. Right now I've just got it in a working folder. So let me create a new folder. So now we've got the Shark Tank folder. Now let's go into that and make our season folder. And now let's back onto this and move these episodes into where they belong. Now before I move this to Plex, I'm going to open up FileBot. So these are already properly named if I simply went to match and chose the TVDB from here. I'll use my custom expression, which other videos show. I'll pick Shark Tank, hit select, and repeat that for each episode. And now you'll see they have a more complex file name. So let me have both windows open. And now I'll rename. And when I refresh this on my NAS, you'll see that we're adding that extra file details, the file characteristics, properly, just as Plex explains to do in its TV show naming guide. So I like this because I can just look at a file name and know exactly what version. And I picked these dummy files purposefully. This one's a 720 AVC 2-channel AAC audio. This one is a 720p H.265 encoded 2-channel AAC. And this one's a 480p H.265 encoded 6-channel file. So it's really informative to be able to see all the media characteristics. But if you're ripping everything yourself, you already know what your settings are in Handbrake. I'm sorry, not Handbrake, but Make MKV, or maybe a conversion through Handbrake, and you know what files you've got, and maybe every file is set up the same way on your system. Alright, so now let's back onto this, and let's copy this into my Plex, my second volume for my TV shows. Let's see, where are we? I'll paste it in. Let's get rid of all this and go back to Plex. And you'll see Plex is working. It's updating the metadata on Shark Tank. And if I scroll down, Shark Tank has been added as a new TV show. And you'll see we come to season 13, and it's pulled the actual metadata needed for each episode. And if I go to the master show, it only shows 3 episodes. Well, it shows 3 unwatched episodes here of season 13, and this shows the total number of episodes. So Plex works perfectly fine as long as your naming convention for your folders and file names matches Plex's basic convention or their more enhanced naming convention. And again, let's take a look at Manage Library. That's my phone notifying me of a new episode or movie on my server. So if we go back to Advanced, I'm assuming you're using the latest scanner and agent, and that your server is updated to the latest stable version. And let's see, what other options should I assume? Well, not here, but on the show level itself. If I go into Edit This and go to Advanced, I also assume that your library default settings are, let me see here, set this way, that you're using the aired order of the movie database. That would basically be default. You can set this up any way you want for each individual TV show. If you rip a TV show from a Blu-ray disc or a DVD, and you've used, say, the TVD with the DVD ordering tab selected to name your media, you might want to manually change this if that's not your default library setting. And then again, if you've used the TVDB for aired ordering, which is basically how my library is set up, you'd just be all set. Anyway, there's just a few options that everybody has to change based on their workflow of how they collect and how they name. You could rip episodes from a DVD or Blu-ray and still name them for how they're listed at TVDB as an aired ordered episode, or you can choose to rename them as a DVD order. 90% of those episodes are going to be the same, and there's only a few number that are out of sequence from one to the other, from DVD to aired. Anyway, this is getting long. Hopefully this will help explain how to get your Shark Tank into Plex properly. Your error for the playback is something I can't explain, but if other media plays fine on your server, it may just be in relation to the files not being named and scanned properly. Or you could have a bad episode. You could have ripped it badly or something. I'm not sure. If you use my complex expressions that I use in FileBot to show all the media characteristics, that might tell you more about that particular file. Or you can simply, let's do this quickly. Sorry, it opened in another window. But I can look, with VLC, I can go to Tools and then Codec Information, and you can look at the file characteristics that way. Alright, hope this has been helpful, and good luck.